What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and today we're going to be talking about the Black Ops 6 Gunsmith system and just how it's better than the Gunsmith we've had in previous Modern Warfare entries. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, drop a like, and it should be a pretty busy week this week as we'll likely get marketing for the mid-season 4 update of MW3 in Warzone, likely this Wednesday, probably Thursday at the latest. We'll be covering all of that. I, of course, made a news roundup as of around a week and a half ago, talking about everything we know so far about Season 4 Reloaded, but still I have plenty of other Black Ops 6 videos on deck for you guys since there's quite a bit to break down from the Black Ops 6 Direct event. But let's start off with the weaponry of Black Ops 6. So I'm definitely planning on making a separate video talking about every single individual weapon that's been rumored or confirmed thus far, but at least based off the Direct event alone and the presentation I got to see over at Treyarch Studios last week, it was first confirmed we're going to be seeing 12 never before seen weapons. This is not the final list of weapons in the game, but just the fact that there will be 12 weapons in BO6 at launch that we've never seen before in any other Call of Duty title. But apart from those 12 weapons, we're also going to be seeing the likes of the XM4, we saw that in Cold War, the AMES-85, the Jackal PDW, the SVD, Marine SP, the KMPAC 92, as well as the 9mm PM. That is, of course, a pistol, and I'm sure there's probably a few weapons here and there that some folks may have missed from the Black Ops 6 Direct, and likely a bunch of others that had just not been revealed yet. But apart from the weaponry, this is certainly going to be a big reset when it comes to the Gunsmith in Black Ops 6, because first off, when it comes to attachments, this has been, in my opinion, a pretty frustrating aspect of the Gunsmith that we have from MW2, which carried forward into MW3. Although MW3 ditched the whole idea of like weapon platforms and receivers, still, when it comes to the attachments, there are so damn many for each weapon class that you almost need a search bar on the attachment menu, which I think is crazy. I know you can filter them from kind of category of attachment, I'm fully aware of that, but with Black Ops 6, we're going to be taking it down a notch in the sense that you can only put 5 attachments per weapon, but up to 8 with a wild card. We'll circle back to wild cards in just a minute, but in terms of attachments being shared across different classes in BO6, only optics will be shared across different classes. So I think that's a pretty brilliant idea to just kind of eliminate a big cluster F issue that I think MW has had for quite some time now, and that's something that we didn't really see throughout the Warzone 1 era from MW19, Cold War to Vanguard, but it's something that, again, we've been noticing following carry forward in Modern Warfare 3 that I'm praying doesn't really ever come back in a future COD. I understand how MW2 and 3 kind of mesh together well in the sense of the same era of weaponry, hence why there's attachment sharing, but Black Ops 6 just doesn't need that. Now, overall, Modern Warfare 19 Gunsmith really just kind of set a standard for how creative class has worked over the last couple of years. Obviously, not each Gunsmith we've gotten in the last 5 years has been exactly the same, but we're really getting a major shakeup with Black Ops 6, and I think eliminates the idea of like repetitiveness with a new Call of Duty creator class. Now, they didn't touch on cosmetics during the presentation at Treyarch, nor did they really go into that during the Direct, but on one of the monitors you can see being used in the live stream, you could see what looks like a first glimpse of the Gunsmith menu, which could of course be subject to change. It's probably just an alpha build that they were playing with there, but you could see at the very top, you have your attachment category, and then I believe your cosmetic category where you can go ahead and equip some camos, probably stickers, charms, whatever it is you guys want. So that certainly is a system coming back, the ability to just add cosmetics to your weapons, and that should be a given, I'd say. So there's something that wasn't clarified yet, which I'm sure is also going to affect creator class quite a bit, and that is the idea of prestige. While you're not forced to prestige, you are inevitably going to lose some type of content when you hit prestige every single time. They already confirmed you're not going to be losing mastery progress like your challenges or camos, but it probably comes down to some of your class slots or certain weapons or just items that you unlock from that level 1 to 55 grind. It's unclear how that's going to work, but every time you prestige, you'll be reset back to rank number 1 with a new prestige badge above your head. But in terms of how it affects the Gunsmith, this is going to be interesting because it's the first classic prestige system with the brand new Gunsmith concept, right? The last time we saw classic prestige was Black Ops 4. That was several years ago, so I'm really curious to see how they're going to mesh all this together for the launch of Black Ops 6. Obviously expect blog posts detailing this information over the next few months, and I'm sure they'll even go in depth with some more footage to back this up during the COD Next event at the very end of August. But when it comes to how creator class specifically works, fundamentally at least in Black Ops 6, they have compared it to Cold War a little bit. It's essentially a hybrid between Cold War and the Gunsmith we've gotten over the last couple of years, with of course a pinch of Black Ops 4. So here's how this works. You'll have 10 custom class slots, 5 default, and even 1 dedicated quick equip slot in your class. We're going to circle back to that. And of course, like I mentioned, you'll only be able to use 5 attachments per weapon, but I'm sure some folks out there are going to love using the wild card to go up to 8. Now, you're going to see a primary, secondary, and dedicated melee slot in your class. What's cool is the dedicated melee slot doesn't take anything away, so it doesn't become some sacrifice where you're like, hey, I want to bring in a new melee weapon that I unlocked. You don't have to use that in place of, let's say, a perk or something for your actual weapon. It's not going to replace anything like that. It's just an extra dedicated melee slot. Now, you're also going to be seeing a slot for your tactical, one for a lethal, and one for a fuel upgrade. You'll obviously have a wild card slot, and then you're going to be dealing with score streaks, right? There's no kill streaks in Black Ops 6. It is a basic score streak system, as we saw in a game like Black Ops 2 or even BO4. No ability to switch to actual kill streaks. It's unclear if you can wrap or loop these streaks whatsoever. I'm sure they'll clarify that in the coming months, but that is how the class options will work here inside of the new Black Ops. Now, something worth going over real quick are the perk tiers. So there's going to be 3 different tiers, and you can kind of just break them down by color if you want. So we have Enforcer, which could be green. We have Recon, which should be red. And then we have the Strategist perk, which should be blue. If you go ahead and equip 3 of the same sub perk in the same class, you get a Combat Specialty, which is a 4th bonus perk. So here's an example, right? If you equip 3 green perks, right, that's the Enforcer, you'll get this ability to give yourself speed increases with each kill and increased health regen. So effectively, quick fix and mobility by running 3 perks of the same category. Hopefully that's clear. So being able to run multiple perks in the same color category is possible in Black Ops 6, which will end up giving you a bonus 4th perk, so to speak. I think that's pretty damn cool and a nice trade-off for sacrificing perks of the other 2 categories if you just stick to one. Now, here are some things that were mentioned during the Treyarch presentation at the studio last week. Things we didn't really get any footage of in the Black Ops 6 Direct, but things that you should know about. So first off, a shooting range is going to return to test your weaponry. It's unclear if it'll be exactly the same as pretty much the previous Call of Duties that have had shooting ranges, where you kind of have 3 lanes, a bunch of dummies you can shoot. Maybe you can add armor plates to those dummies. It's unclear how in-depth this new firing range is going to go, but I know you guys may feel differently about this, but I would like it if there's like a bot or 2 in the new firing range where you can perform a finishing move on them if you want to test things out that way. That would be a pretty cool touch to change up the firing range in Black Ops 6. They also confirmed what are called mastery badges. Not really sure what that means. I don't believe these are anything to do with like your actual badges that pop up in a match and being able to track how many, let's say, bloodthirsties or merciless or nuclears you have. I don't think that's what they are. It could be something like that, but this could be something tied more towards prestige and your ability to maybe perma unlock something even after you go ahead and reset to rank 1. Not exactly clear, but when it comes to wildcards, just so you guys know, a game like Black Ops 4 had them. Cold War also had them, but I think some folks may have forgotten that, considering Cold War's Gunsmith was, again, similar to Modern Warfare 19. We had wildcards in that game like Gunfighter, Lawbreaker, even Danger Close, and I'm sure you end up seeing a wildcard like Overkill to carry 2 primary weapons, but it's certainly a guarantee. One of the wildcards lets you bring in 3 additional attachments on top of the 5, which I think is going to be crazy, but they also confirmed detailed weapon stats, so likely being able to break down everything about your weapon that you just built, from firepower to speed, accuracy, even ammunition. Detailed stats are very important, and I think have been a part of just about almost every recent COD in the last couple of years. Apart from MW2, I think they weren't as detailed, but I think there's definitely an issue when it comes to detailed weapon stats where sometimes they just don't give you the correct values you're looking for, like exact number values of how good a weapon is. I think that's really important for the sake of transparency. Now, for those wondering why we didn't just get a pick 10 system in Black Ops 6, here's my opinion thus far based on the presentation. I think this is likely the best route they could have gone to still kind of incorporate the gunsmith we've been accustomed to for the last couple of years while giving it that Treyarch spin that helps the game feel more traditional, like Black Ops 4 and a bit like Black Ops Cold War. I think this was a really good idea, at least from what I could see right now. When we actually play the game later this summer or whatever the beta is, I think that'll be when we can truly come to a conclusion about whether or not this was the best route to go. But you can bet Warzone's going to get an overhaul. Aside from the omnidirectional movement, it's likely going to get an overhaul in the sense of just how the gunsmith works. Not sure how that'll affect the Modern Warfare weaponry, but you can bet the gunsmith that we have for Black Ops 6 will be used for BO6 specific weaponry when playing games of Warzone. Now, I know at the presentation, Treyarch did say they didn't want to really restrict us on what we can use so much. I mean, there are still some fair balances and restrictions, but not to the point of a pick 10 or pick 13 system where some folks out there just feel like they can't use certain combinations of items. I think overall this is the best way to go. Pick 10 is kind of a thing of the past, but I'm not opposed to it being brought back in a different light at some point in a future COD game. I mean, think about the rumor for next year's game, which is apparently a Black Ops 2 futuristic sequel. Maybe they'll bring it back then, but I just can't imagine how, if they bring back a Pick 10 system, how that could affect something like Warzone when an integration happens every first season. But that is about it. This has been DK Dynamite. Leave our thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your initial thoughts on the Gunsmith and Create a Class system here within Black Ops 6? How are you feeling about it in comparison to previous MW entries, plus everything else we discussed? Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.